Oh, didn't see you there. I was just reading a book about making right choices. That's not what this video is about. This video is about all the terrible choices I've made. You see this blanket? I got this in first class. Let me know if you guys want to hear about my experience in first class. I don't know how I ended up there. It's a mystery to me. Today's story time is going to be about all the terrible choices I made when I was in school. Now, I picked 5 little stories. I'm going to put them all into this video. So if you guys like this little back to school story time video, definitely hit the like button and let me know. So here we go. As embarrassing and incriminating, is that the right word? I don't know. I don't know English that well. Although when I was in high school, I did English at college level. But now I'm just like, I don't know what any word is. I thought this would be a good fitting story time for this time of year because I know some of you guys are going back to school, maybe you're in college. I love back to school time. I seriously want to just go buy a bunch of school supplies and haul it because stationery is low-key my obsession. So my first story today takes place in elementary school, and this was when I was accused of calling a girl fat. I don't think I've ever told this story before. I think I thought about it, but I didn't. So anyway, I was probably in like 4th or 5th grade. It was recess, and we were like lined up to go inside. Now, I had this friend who was kind of like, she was a bully. I'm just gonna say that bluntly. She was very outspoken. She just didn't hold back. She kind of just said whatever she wanted. I mean, at one point, she ended up punching me in the face. I kid you not, but that's a story for another day. Punched me in the face, just was very aggressive, just crude, and I don't know, just one of those kind of people where she just wasn't afraid to say things. So we were lined up ready to go inside from recess, and there was this girl standing in front of us who I think she was in our class, maybe she was in a different class, I don't know, but I remember my friend pointing at her and being like, that girl's fat, and then just kind of snickering to me, and me just kind of staying there, I'm like, heh. But I never said she was fat. I just went along with what she said. I was that person. I was a doormat. I still to this day am relatively a doormat. You know, I'm kind of like, people will say things and I'll just kind of be like, you know, kind of afraid to stick up for myself in certain situations. I wish I wasn't like that. I'm working on it, guys, okay? Life is a work in progress. So I guess the girl overheard it, or a teacher overheard it, somebody overheard it, and I remember a teacher coming over to us and we got in trouble. So the next thing I know, I was called down to the guidance counselor's office, and I remember telling them like, listen, I didn't say that, and they did not believe me. They didn't believe me. I said, listen, it was my friend that called her fat. I did not call her fat. I mean, I was like the quiet friend, you know. I feel like if I had been a character in a TV show, I would have been kind of like the sidekick to the bully, you know what I mean? Like, I never actually said anything wrong. I was kind of like what's her face in Mean Girls, the girl with the big fake boot. I don't know, I haven't seen Mean Girls that many times, but I kind of just went along with whatever she said to me, you know what I mean? But I wasn't mean myself. Mean Girls in 5th grade, really. They never believed me, but my mom believed me. But my mom told me, you know, like, you may not have said anything mean, but that would still hurt that girl's feelings. So my mom suggested that I take that girl like a gift or something and just kind of like make amends and just kind of like, you know, kind of squash our beefs, I guess. So what I did was, I had like this huge basket of stuffed animals, and I dug through it, and I was gonna pick her out one of my stuffed animals and give it to her as a gift and just kind of be like, listen, I don't have anything against you. I'm sorry that that was said about you. Listen, I just want to be friends now. I picked her out this little brown teddy bear, and it was dressed like an angel. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is perfect. So I gave it to her, and we actually ended up being friends after that. Actually, the 3 of us ended up being friends. We were like a little clique, and we were friends till like 6th grade. So, I mean, that's a thing. I guess the lesson here is to not be friends with people like my friend who is like the Regina George of 5th grade, you know, just mean. Maybe I was more like Gretchen. I don't know. I was just kind of like the sidekick, you know? But anyway, what's next? Alright, this next story is kind of crazy, and I have been wanting to tell this for a long time. I had this friend on the school bus in like middle school, and her and I were like troublemakers together. It was really weird. She kind of like, I don't want to say she like harassed the bus driver, but she just like annoyed him and like just asked him questions like about his wife and just, you know, like just talking to him. She would sit right behind him and just kind of talk to him the entire time, and you could just tell he was just like, and I would just kind of sit there and just watch. I'm just like what is she doing? I mean, one day she even brought a Barbie on the bus and was like making the Barbie like talk to him. I think she was in 7th grade and I was in 8th grade. So one day she says to me, hey Adria, what if we buy a Coke or something at the vending machine and we throw it out the window on the bus? I'm like, girl, are you crazy? Like what? And she was like, no, like it'll be fun, like let's just do it. And I'm like, okay, you know, like it'll be fun. Oh, so we both like chipped in some money. We got a soda out of the vending machine. I'm pretty sure it was like a Diet Coke. We got something gross so that we wouldn't drink it. I don't know. People like obsess over Diet Coke. Let me know if you guys like I don't know, there's people that like Diet Coke more than normal Coke, and I'm just like, I don't get it, does not compute. So we got something gross so that we wouldn't end up drinking it, and we kept it in one of our lockers till the end of the day. On the bus, we were just taking turns just shaking the crap out of this can, like just shaking it intensely, and we were getting ready to throw it out the window. Why? I think this could have given someone a concussion, this could have broken someone's windshield, this could have slashed somebody's tire, the aluminum, I don't know. Just very irresponsible, very childish. I don't know, I feel like middle school years, you're kind of obnoxious. You go through those phases of like, oh, let's do something crazy. That was our idea of something crazy. Never throw things out the window. But then she was trying to get me to do it, and there was no way I was gonna do it. I was like, no way, this was your idea, you're gonna do it. And she was like, well, I'm not gonna do it. I'm like, well, what the heck then? She was just planning on making me do it, I know it. This was when I went to private school, and it was K through 12. So there was like little kindergartners and first graders and so on our bus, and I think this kid was probably in like first grade. And so my friend like turns to him and she's like, hey dude, like throw this can out the window. And he was just like, what? And she basically just convinced him that it would be funny, just like throw it out the window, like nobody's gonna find out, it's fine. And I'm just like, oh my, like I was literally like, ah. And you know, like little kids, you tell them to do something, they'll do it, okay? So our time to do this was kind of running out because we were almost at my house. And so she was like, okay, we gotta do this now. And so we were stopped at a stoplight. The little boy puts his window down, and we're just like peeking over, because you know, you can kind of see the bus driver like in the window, not the window, in the mirror, you know, like you can kind of see like the top of their eyes. So we're just like looking to make sure he's not looking. This was so incredibly scary, okay? Like never do anything like this, I swear. This is like, I know, this makes me look really bad that I was a part of something like this. Seriously, okay, my shenanigans. So the little boy, as we're stopped, shakes up the can one last final time, you know, because we sat there just shaking it the entire bus ride, which was probably like 10 minutes. So the little boy takes it, shaking it, and chucks it out the window. I saw it kind of just fell like straight down, okay? And there was a car next to us. Luckily, it didn't hit it, okay? And we're just like, Then I look and I see the bus driver's eyes like look up, like shoot up, and we just duck down in the seats. It was so scary, okay? As we're driving, the bus driver is like yelling to us. He was like, did somebody throw something out the window? I felt my I thought I was actually gonna puke, honey. This is so disgusting. You know when you do something you're not supposed to and somebody catches you and you're just like gagging? That was me. Then it was my stop. I was the first one of the three of us to get off, so I was like, bye Felicia. As I was getting off, the bus driver, he turns and he was like, was anything thrown out the window? I was just like, no. Then the next day, I remember being so afraid to get on that bus. I was so scared of getting in trouble that I BS'd and I stayed home. I was like, oh, I'm so sick. But I was terrified, okay? And then I remember my friend texting me like, oh my gosh, Adria, how could you just leave me by myself? And it's just like, girl. And I think eventually she did get kicked off that bus for just like driving the bus driver crazy. I think he complained about her to the school and was like, hey, like put this girl on a different bus. Seriously. Don't ever do anything like that, children. Please, never. I mean, I heard a story where these kids took like a frozen turkey and they like chucked it off a bridge and it killed this mother in her car. And she had like 4 kids and like just killed her right there for something so stupid, just throwing something just to be funny. Okay, I know the thought of throwing food off of stuff is like funny, like hey, like throwing a rotten tomato, like yeah, splatting something. But seriously, things like that can actually hurt people, so don't do anything stupid like that. Don't get kicked off your bus. Look, I feel like this is the second story in a row where I kind of let friends kind of manipulate me into like being like their little sidekick. Don't be a part of that nonsense. Stand up for yourself, girl. Don't do it. This next story is about how I cheated on a test. You know the spiel. Alright, I'm not gonna sound like your mom anymore. So here is how I cheated on my vocabulary test. So first of all, let me just say, my English teacher when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, I honestly can't remember, I think it was 8th grade. She was such, she was a bitch, okay? I can't even. I don't know, she had a pole up her butt, okay? It was, I was absent for a few days. What else is new? I was always just skipping school because I just hated my life. That's nothing new. Okay, so I came back and I had missed a vocabulary test. Back in like middle school, I wasn't super good at anything in school. I think because of my mental health problems, I just had like trouble paying attention and trouble like absorbing information. So I had to make up this vocabulary test and I hadn't studied at all. I hadn't seen the words in like a week because I just like wasn't looking at them, you know what I mean? And she was like, okay, like I'll give you 10 minutes to study before I give you the test. And everybody else was kind of just doing like their own work and stuff. And so I was gonna take the test just like on my own, like one-on-one with the teacher. The teacher's desk is like here, okay? And my desk is like in the first row, like over on this side of the room. So we are like opposite of the room of each other. So she was far away. So I'm sitting there studying for a few minutes and then she's like, okay, time's up, time to take the test. And I had not absorbed any of those words. And I was just like, girl, I can't do this. And I knew that my grade in English was really bad. I knew I wasn't doing too good. And I was just like, girl. And I know I said like, I was doing English at a college level, but that was when I was in 11th grade. I definitely improved. In that time, I'm not a liar. So I know there'd be people in the comments saying like, you said you did English at a college level, so what the heck, Adria, why would you have to cheat? But I had to make a decision right then and there before I went up to grab the paper. I was like, okay, when I put this vocab book away, I can either put it away or I can leave it like open on the floor. Me being the terrible human being that I was and probably still am, I left the book open and I kind of put my backpack like in front of it so that from the teacher's angle she wouldn't be able to see it. It was just opened up on the floor. I was like praying that the kids like sitting behind me, sitting around me wouldn't rat me out, and so I just left it there. So as I'm taking the vocab test, the teacher, she's like saying the words out loud because you do have to do those tests vocally because part of it was like spelling it out too. And oh my gosh, I literally just felt like I was gonna puke even talking about this. The teacher, she was like, Adria, is your book open on the floor? And my stomach just sank and every head in the room turned and looked at me. They were like, wait, what? Like, this girl is cheating? We are in private school. Like, this is God's house. Like, how are you cheating in here, girl? What's the matter with you? I was like, oh. And I said no. I said no. She asked me if my book was open and I said no. She's like, if she's asking that, she can clearly tell. Why would I lie about it? When she looked back down at the paper, I, with my foot, just kind of like went, you know, like, I won't, I just had surgery on my toes. But, you know, with my foot, I kind of just scooted it closed. And I low-key knew that she knew that I knew that she knew that I cheated. So then when I got the test back, all of like the oral like part of the test was marked incorrect. I was like, that hoe, like this bitch. I mean, even though I was the one cheating, and she like wrote something in like the margin of the paper, oh, I know that the book was open, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, girl, you know what? And so I ended up getting a bad grade anyway. So moral of the story, don't cheat, because even if you don't get caught, it's still just not worth it for your sanity, because I remember just feeling guilty about it and being like, wow, why did I do that? I was just kind of desperate to pass at that point, but whatever. All right, moving on. This is the time I accidentally tripped my teacher in front of the class. So this teacher, I'm pretty sure she just disliked me. She was the very first teacher to ever give me a detention in my life. I think I was in 12th grade. Yeah, I didn't even get a detention till I was in high school. So, you know, even though I was low-key kind of a shitty person, I kind of flew under the radar and got away with stuff. I don't know, because I always had this terrible fear of getting in trouble, and I still do. Like, if somebody starts yelling at me, I just shut down. Like, I shut down. Even if I hear in public somebody else yelling at somebody else, I cannot, oof, it's the worst thing in the world for me. I would probably rather somebody just like slap me across the face than yell at me, to be honest. I have a sweat mustache. So this teacher just did not like me. Okay, she gave me like 3 detentions, I think, and they were for being like a couple seconds late to class. It was because I always got them on days where I had gym class, because my gym was on the complete opposite side of the school on the first floor, and then her class was on the opposite end of the school on the 2nd floor. And let me just say, my high school was really big. There was 3,000 students in there. I graduated from a class of over 1,000, so like it was a big ass school. So to get from one end of it to the other in 4 minutes, I think that's how long they gave us, like 4 or 5 minutes. That was a lot of work. And plus when you gotta get changed, my gym teacher was the scum of the earth, like honestly. And sometimes she wouldn't even let us leave gym until the bell rang. So then after the bell rang, we'd have to go get changed and then get to our next class. It's like, I can't do all that in 4 minutes, honey. My math teacher in 12th grade gave me a bunch of detentions for being late. But that's not what this story is about. This is the part where I tripped her, okay? Low-key kind of glad that it happened because, like, karma, honey. Like, okay? I even told her, like, listen, I have gym and whatever, so sorry, I'm a little bit late. But she just didn't care. She still gave me detention, okay? So when I was in high school, I constantly charged my phone in like every single class. I don't know why. My classrooms would have like outlets in the floor, I guess for like laptops and stuff like that. And so I was like, oh, I can just like charge my phone in the floor. I was doing that in this math class one day, and the cord, the outlet was kind of farther away. It wasn't right next to my desk. And then I just kind of slumped my phone into my backpack, so I wasn't like on it, you know? And the teacher was walking around in huge high heels, girl. Like, you know, she was the trendy teacher that always had heels on, like, girl, going above and beyond, you know? And as she walked by my desk, silence in the room, trips over the cord. I felt horrified. I was like, oh my gosh. But at the same time, I was like, like that's what you get. But no, I wasn't about to be like that. But she gave me the ugliest look, okay? I'm not talking about like she wasn't cute, but like a dirty face. Like, I'll reenact what she did, okay? Like when she tripped, she went like, she didn't get hurt, she didn't even hit the ground. So before you're thinking like, oh my gosh, you're making fun of somebody that tripped and like fell and like that's so mean, she didn't even hit the ground, she didn't get hurt, girl. She just like, she almost hit the ground. It was very close, but, and then she says, she was like, if you want to charge your phone, do it in the wall. I'm just like, what? She just said it so quick, so quick. I'm just like, okay. So I just stood up, pulled my charger out of the floor, and I went and I plugged it into the wall, and then I sat back down. I'm just like, okay, like she told me I could, so. I mean, she just didn't like me. She just constantly gave me an attitude. Honestly, geometry was like my favorite subject in school, and biology. I love geometry and bio, so it was like, you know, I'd always volunteer to go up and be like, like, look, I'm so smart. Speaking of biology being my favorite subject, this last story is about how I made some money doing my friend's homework in biology. I'm not sure if I'm proud of this or ashamed of this. I'm kind of on the fence about it because kind of you shouldn't do it, but kind of like, girl, like, I had this friend in my bio class and he was just like the class clown. He was so funny, so naturally I just kind of gravitated him because, you know, I'm like the funniest person ever. So one day he shared with me that he was just too busy to do his homework. He was like, listen, I like work after school, like I can't do it. And he was like, what if I paid you to do my homework? What? Because I did my homework every single night, okay? I was that kid. Brandon and I like share back and forth. That's kind of funny. Brandon never did his homework in school. He's like, I maybe did it like 5 times in 12 years. I maybe missed my homework like twice in 12 years. I always did every assignment I was given. So he was like, listen, like you always do your homework, like why don't you just do mine? You can like copy, you know, onto my paper, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and I'll pay you. I was like, okay, this sounds kind of good. You gotta make that money. He paid me $50 like it was either 2 months or 3 months. It was a pretty good deal. And it's not even like he was in a different class than me where I actually had to like work hard. All I had to do was just do my own homework, which I did anyway, and then just copy it onto another paper, which only took a couple minutes. So I was like, girl, this is perfect. I can do this. And oh my gosh, like what's wrong with me, okay? I actually studied his handwriting, okay? We sat next to each other and I just like studied how he wrote and I mastered his handwriting. Never got caught. Teacher never suspected a thing because I learned how to do his handwriting. Okay, I sound like a criminal. Honestly, like plagiarism, like never got caught. And actually I kind of had a crush on that teacher, to be honest. I don't know. I have daddy issues, so instead of like crushing on kids in my class, it was just kind of like, oh, the teacher's so hot. Anyway, I think by the end of the year I ended up making like $100 off that kid. It was what it was, honey. Quite honestly, I feel like even if the teacher had found out, or even if the teacher knew, I feel like he just low-key like didn't care. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any crazy stories like this about things that you maybe shouldn't have done in school, cheating, getting in trouble, throwing things off the bus, anything like that. Did you do anything in school you weren't supposed to? Let me know down in the comments. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so down below. I put out videos 3 times a week and I have a bunch more interesting stories to share with you guys, even though my life isn't all that interesting. And also, if you haven't already, you can subscribe to my vlog channel. I'm trying to be more active on it. I kind of suck at it, but you know, if you want to see a bit more into my everyday life rather than this kind of video, you can subscribe to that. It's just youtube.com/adriakillen. And yeah, I I need to be more active. I need to vlog more. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys again real soon. Until then, panda hugs. I love you guys. Bye!